What is going on, guys? Welcome into episode 39, I think. Thank you guys so much for being flexible. I know we usually do this on Mondays. Both Buff and I have had some like crazy real life stuff going on. I just got back into like cell phone service, internet, and civilization like not that long ago, like yesterday. So kind of catching up on everything. And was going to do this program, was going to do it solo by myself. But Blue the Robot has come in and saved you all from hearing me ramble for an hour straight. So we all need to thank Blue for saving you guys. You owe him a lot. What's up, man? Thanks for popping in.
Thank you. All right.
everybody, round of applause. What's up, dude?
What's up, brother? No, we're just talking, like you said, you're just talking about your hunting excavation or expedition, I should say.
Yeah. It kind of turned into more of a hiking expedition. More than anything, but yeah,
still fine being outdoors anyways.
Oh, it was good. I put some miles on with a pack that my body has not done anything like that in a while. So it was kind of a shock to the system, but it was definitely something that I needed to do. Like it was cool. I got to see some cool stuff. Found some elk sheds. I think a little bit later in the program, I have some pictures. If anybody's interested, I might show some pictures on screen a little later from my trip, but.
I know really cool. I've been looking for hiking trails around where I am recently too, so looking to get just more outdoor stuff going on, especially because it's later in the year. It's not 90 degrees every day.
Yeah, so. You can finally be outside, and someone like me of my size can actually do stuff outside without having a heat stroke within 5 minutes of leaving the door. So that's good. Yeah, definitely.
It's gonna work on my back, but that's about it.
But it's also weird. It's also weird being unplugged from the internet for that long, like with zero service, like no text, no
calls. How long
calls,
were you out there for?
No anything. 4 days. It was kind of out and about.
Yeah, a lot can happen in 4 days for sure.
Yeah. So who knows if all the news that I have prepared for this show is accurate or anything. This is just what I think happened maybe while I was out in the wilderness. So it'll be interesting. Again, guys, we're broadcasting to a few different channels, so keep your eye on the screen for chat from all the different channels and stuff. Again, chat is on the screen so you guys can talk, be part of the show, and people go back and watch the VOD that will be over on the Scope YouTube channel. You can check that out for VODs, clips, and all that stuff. Also, this is an audio podcast, so as we're going through talking about pictures and stuff, I will do my best. There are actually more of you people. We can maybe say that there's more than one person listening to the podcast version of this, so I'll try to illustrate stuff so it makes sense to you guys. Yeah, there's been quite a few people downloading. Shout out to you. Yeah, shout out podcast listeners. We appreciate you. If you want to see my ugly face, come on over to YouTube. If not, I totally get it and appreciate your downloads. So
I was listening to a few though on I'll be honest, on Spotify, just chilling in the car.
Nice, cool.
It's good. Yeah, good car podcast. I'll say that. So yeah,
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's kind of was my goal with it. We don't really produce the show necessarily for an audio only experience, but if you're out and about on a car ride or you're not able to watch something, hopefully you can click it on and talk about video games when you're unable to play them, because that's what I always like doing. That's why I always like podcasts. Like if I can't play the games, I'm going and doing stuff IRL. It's cool to still listen to it and kind of stay plugged in. So yeah, that was the goal there.
Sweet.
I like it. I think what we were going to talk about first, since Blue was able to join us, is World War III. If you guys don't know, I wasn't able to add it really quick, but if you search Blue the Robot over there, you guys will be able to find his channel right away. World War III. In my opinion, he is the internet's foremost expert on World War III, so we're lucky to have him here to answer some of our questions. He's a partnered content creator with them, and just makes awesome videos. If you're interested in the game at all, I'm pretty sure he's doing guides, news, everything going on with that game, cosmetics, like all this stuff. It's like a whole, his channel is a resource for World War III, so check it out. And it launched in open beta, and I was incredibly scared that we were going to have a repeat of the last 3 launches. How were you feeling on that day?
I'm still feeling the effects, like the aftershocks of the open beta day 1, 2, 3. But I think with the latest patches that just came up and everything that's been going on, I know just today I was streaming World War 3. I was getting into games left and right. One of the devs came in and asked, "Hey, how's the game running?" It's super smooth now. I have no issues. getting to games, partying up with friends too, because even then you maybe could have gotten into a game, but you couldn't play with your friends. So now 5-man squads all day. Yeah, it's 10 times better than it was the first day. In fact, I think it's the best running version of World War 3 since 2018 currently, for sure.
Nice. I'm gonna try it tonight. We were gonna try it last night, but on my Twitch stream, but my buddy Ham didn't have the update download. He thought he had it uploaded or updated in Steam, but you got to update it in the launcher. So he still had like the 65 gig open beta download to do. So we
also quick announcement: don't verify the Steam files. Verify the launcher files, because if you verify the Steam on Steam, it'll just uninstall the game, and you got to reinstall again. So people have been having that issue as well too. So
yes, I think I had that issue as well. So you got to do all this stuff in the launcher. I actually despise that launcher so much.
I despise that launcher
because
it's still using my game's technology technically. So
didn't it cause problems with people trying to all download it at once? It was like a peer-to-peer thing where it was people were not able to download it very fast.
I'm not sure if it's peer-to-peer
or not necessarily like that. It was kind of hosted on their own thing, so they were having like bandwidth
probably
issues.
Because people were getting max 2 mega bits per second, I think, at the most. Now recently people have been getting it around I would say between 30 and 50. Pretty substantial difference for sure. I know when I just wanted to uninstall it, reinstall it to see the difference, it would fluctuate between 34 to 53 ish, but it downloaded in 30 minutes. So definitely a big difference than 8 hours people were saying before. And then again, they would download for 8 hours, come back to their PC, try to load it to a game, and just get hit by screen after screen, just error after error. Now it's just smooth sailing.
Yeah,
I will say though, it's not smooth for everyone. I know one guy came on the stream and he was saying, "Hey, I'm still having some issues." So maybe a couple here and there, but overall, I would say it's like I said, 10 times better for sure.
Yeah, I was really happy to see that. I was so disappointed when I thought it was happening again. When I thought that it was going to be another release like we'd seen before, where you have this game sitting here and all these really cool assets and these really cool systems, and then you can't play it. Come on. But yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I think what was it to the Steam reviews are a big issue, not even really a big issue, because so day one, of course, it broke its all-time record of 11,000 players, over 11,000 for the all-time peak. So it broke its record, and then just this last weekend, it got close to getting back up to that. It was 10,000 players, 10,000, 10.6. So with that, and then still currently sitting at recent, mostly negative reviews on Steam, when it was at overwhelmingly negative during those early days of the open beta. Everyone just completely crapped on the game, just decided to just leave their 2 words and deuces. But I think even with those reviews in play, people are still seeing the potential. People are still getting on consistently. But now with people actually playing the game the next part is just fine tuning, and then content is the next big step, what's coming up next.
Yeah, I think content is huge. I saw a big difference between people's opinions. If you're a veteran of the 2018 vintage and later on when it tried to release again in I can't remember 19 or 20 when they came back out with it, or for the closed beta, and you've played those same maps and those same modes, you're gonna probably have a different opinion of it now than if you're just jumping into it fresh.
Yes. What would you record? Someone, because I've been playing since 2018, and a lot of people probably in chat have been as well. For a new player, you're having a great time, and you're probably just okay, take your time with the content. But for us players who've been playing since 2018, we're okay, we need something now, ASAP. These are the same 5 maps we've seen since 2018, 2019. Just give us something. We had 2 game modes that were back before that are not in the game currently. So yeah, again, it and as so Big Fred said, it did deserve everything it got. So now it's their time to be okay, we fucked up, we get it, we understand. now it's time to show you guys what we really got.
Yep, I think so, and it did deserve it because I was so disappointed seeing that again with those server issues. It's like they've had 4 years or 5 years on this. You can't do that again, and they got it fixed now. So like I can't be too hard on it now. I can't imagine like the tech and how hard that is to get a multiplayer game to
I
work.
heard
But
stories of just guys not getting sleep, man. Just
I'm sure that they were crunching like crazy. I'm sure
sleeping in the office.
Yeah, I bet that would be so stressful, but it's really cool. What I have to ask this, I know, like,
go for it.
Like, did getting rid of MWII Games fix the servers? Like, how did that happen, dude?
So the thing is, a lot of this stuff has been in the background for a long time. Apparently, like when you open up the game, MWII Game was nowhere to be found, like the logo or nothing. The launcher no longer said MWII Games, even though it was the same launcher. And then with that as well too, what was it, like the new publisher, there's no information on these guys. They originate from Cyprus, Greece, apparently. And then on top of that, from what I've heard through the grapevine, because I Googled them and haven't really found anything, apparently they're a subsidiary of a mining company, not a Bitcoin mining company, like an actual like physical labor mining company. So I don't know what they're doing getting into games. And then their co-publisher is the Four Winds, which do a lot of localization for different games of just like bringing it to different countries. So it's a very weird combination of stuff going behind the scenes, and no one really knows exactly what's going on. It's more of just like we're just kind of just going along for the ride. And for some reason, the ride's getting fun now. It's just, it's gonna. I mean, if you look at the Steam charts, it's like a roller coaster. It's going up and then it goes back down, goes back up, goes back down. It's just like, now what's next? Where's the next big drop? Where's the next big hill to climb, I should say, for this game?
Yeah, I pulled up your tweet because honestly I really didn't see anybody else talking about this other than you. Your breaking news tweet where MWII Games is official.
The thing is because and also when that link that's on that tweet, when you look at it and you click on it and you got, of course it's in Polish, so it's got to get translated to English, so some words might be different here and there, but it's saying that while MWII Games has stepped back from the publishing side, they haven't stepped back from the technological side. So the in-game currency, the servers, most likely the launcher, is all still MWII Games property, but they're no longer the main publisher for the game. So I'm very confused with what's going on. I just maybe I feel like Farm 51 just needs to just take over completely again, and they need to just focus on it. But hey, I'm not a businessman, so I'm not a Greek businessman.
Yeah, I have no clue. I have no clue what goes on behind the scenes there. It would be awesome, I feel like, if they could have, total control over everything and just have all their files and updates and everything hosted on Steam and all their blog posts. But
exactly,
I don't know how complicated in having that in-game store is, like what level of complexity that adds. So I'm sure they needed help with that. But then, yeah, it seems like they just picked up an investor that had some money and wanted to get into gaming, I guess. So, but yeah,
yes, exactly.
But your tweet is up. If you guys are really interested in this game, I highly recommend following Blue. Like I said, I think he's the only one that broke this news that I saw. IGN, where's the retweet? Come on, where you at? Get it going. But yeah, and it was just weird. And I guess from what you say, I have to lean more towards coincidence. But it's like they made this announcement, no more MWII Games. Then there was like a 6 megabyte update, like a tiny little update, and then the servers are just like,
and then it works. I think it was just coincidental timing. I think it's just the devs are working a lot in the back end, just taking their time working on it completely, and then they just. And the thing is too, this announcement wasn't officially announced in World War III. This was announced in the MWII Games creator Discord. So it wasn't like private content. They told us in the Discord, hey, this was what's happening. And then on top of that, because they wanted to be like, okay, so we'll see what happens to the MWII Games creator program, because technically it's not a World War III Farm 51 program. It's still technically a MWII Games creator program just for World War III specifically. So all the main creators for that game, who knows what's going to happen, or if we're going to lose it, We don't know yet. I'm not really worried about that. I just want the game to run. I want the game to work. I don't care if I have partner or not with this game. I've been covering it with, without it. So that's what's going on.
That makes sense. I really appreciate your insight and stuff. And I've been seeing some really cool tweets of like, the guns you've been building and stuff. I haven't been able. I need to get in and I need to put some hours into it to get some stuff unlocked. Because again, I played it a fair amount in 2018 and when you could get into a match every once in a while, and like playing that, I can't. It doesn't hold my attention because I've played these maps. So that brings me to like, what do you see as the future? And then my hope is, I guess I'll just say it really quick. I hope I don't answer this for you. My hope is that they have a lot of content in the chamber and they just wanted to get the open beta up and running, and now that it is, hopefully some new content is right around the corner. So that's where I hope
that's
it's at.
what I'm thinking too. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. There's a guy that keeps going around. I don't know exactly who he is, if he's an investor or a developer. He hasn't like confirmed it, at least on my stream. Maybe community manager Polak might know, possibly. I'm dropping names. But his name is Powell something, some long last name. But he comes in every major World War III video or stream. He'll hop into that stream or the comment section and say that big things are planned. Like today, he came into my stream. I'm curious, do I still have the chat bot out? I do. He came into my stream and basically just started just saying, big things are coming, man. Just be patient or something like that. And that season one that's coming out will be will impress a lot of people, is what he's saying. So that's a lot. That's some pretty big words coming from this guy. Again, I don't know who he is exactly specifically. I'm more leaning towards the fact that he's not a dev, because I don't think a dev would be coming around like that, just like, hey, we're get ready, because then that's just shooting themselves in the foot if it all goes south.
Right.
So I'm thinking it's just an investor trying to boost up everyone's hype to put more money into this game so he makes more money.
That makes sense. So Big Fry in chat, shout out, huge fan, man. Thank you for being here. He's adding a little context to it as well. He said that guy reached out to him and dropped that they are launching in September before anybody knew about it.
Same thing, exactly. And I didn't believe it. And then guess what? It drops in September. Yeah. So this guy might be the Tom Henderson of World War III. He might know some stuff. He might have insider access that we just don't know, and he's just going around just telling people.
He might have a bunch of mines, and now he's getting into gaming. He's ready to do it. He said he told Big Fry that he was an investor as well. Interesting.
Yeah, see? Okay, yeah, exactly. So it's just like I'm leaning more to the investor side, which would make sense of him trying to hype stuff up. But I take a lot of that stuff with a grain of salt until it gets officially announced anyways. So.
Yeah, you have to with this game. As long as it's taken to get where we are. Like, I don't know. I keep saying it a lot, but like if you've been part of this game and following it since it started in like 2018 or even before that in 2017 when it was announced, I think it's been a long road to get to a functional shooting game with like 4 maps and 2 modes. Like it's been a long road to get here.
And then on top of that too, like the data mining from this game was insane during the before like the early alpha test or like the alpha, what was like the alpha test. Oh no, the veteran alpha test and the closed beta test. That's what it was. There was a lot of data mining because everything was just open. They didn't like lock anything behind locked files or different, coded things. Jeez. So everything was, and I could talk about it because it's already, we were talking about on stream, but like they have a breakthrough, which is like their version of Rush icon in the game files. And then they have another icon that no one knows what it is. So it could be possibly 2 game modes. Again, this is like, I tell everyone, take this with a grain of salt, but it's in the game files. Like we've seen the different maps. We've seen on the trailers, you've seen Tokyo. We've seen New York. You've seen
DMZ.
What was it? The DMZ. What DMZ on their open beta trailer, I think was it open beta trailer? One of the newest trailers showed the DMZ even more so.
It was
than we've ever seen it. And then just on stream today, we kind of deciphered that the giant tree forest map is most likely the redwood forest in California, because we even saw like an American flag in the background. There's no other forest that I can think of that has giant oak trees that are just massive things. So
I live in Kansas, so no, I don't know about any trees.
Flat. Anyways,
it's not.
Just
it's not. I live in a cool area. Leave me alone.
But yeah, again, all of this is just data mine stuff, and no one really knows for sure. But the investor might know. So
the investor. That's what we're just gonna call him now. That's the mystical investor. Yeah, the investor. Could be a movie. And then the other thing, I remember. I feel like you could probably tell me. In one of so they did some investor calls in Polish and that could be translated and stuff. And I feel like the creative director or something at Farm 51 said that they are potentially looking at like esports type mode. So I'm hoping for a bomb mode, like with these mechanics would be really fun, like S&D.
Oh yeah,
point. But no, Rush would be good too. Rush is a good start.
Rush, but the main one that I want is the mode that was tested a long time ago called Recon, which was like their answer to like a battle royale type game, but it wasn't like a full battle royale game. It was kind of like, again, I never played it, but from hearing people that have played it, it was kind of like, you ever heard of the game 9 to 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 3v3v3, kind of like that. Well, kind of like that, just with, so it'd be like 5v5v5v5v5 maybe, or something like that. And then the certain sections of the map close off, and there's pickup weapons, there's vehicles in there. It's very, again, more competitive in that fact. You know, your squad dies, that's it, you know, but there was a revive system too, so.
There was a revive system? I don't remember that.
Apparently there was a revive system in that mode specifically. Nothing else, just that mode.
Man, they got to get this stuff out. I guess it's still, the game is still new to a lot of people who are just jumping into the open beta, but I just look at it from a mindset of a veteran. It's like, please,
exactly. For all the new players, you're like, oh, this is great. The game finally works. So I'm like, for all us veteran players, give us something now.
Yeah. It's like, hurry. So hopefully that's the case. Maybe the investor will provide more insight. We could look for some videos on your channel, but no, that's where it's at. And I feel like if the game works and it continues to work, because I used to keep notifications on for this game because I wanted to make content about it, and I'm sure I still will every once in a while, for sure. But I kept notifications on, and it was just like, and you might, but it's just like server maintenance. Like, I gotta give it a break. But now that we're finally,
I kept it on the entire time.
Now that we're, man, you probably knew you probably got onto like a Polish sleep schedule with those. So where we're at now, I feel like this game is like a couple maps and some really cool game modes away from success. If it keeps, if the servers hang in there, something like that recon mode, a rush mode, and a few more maps,
and something like, I would like again, like an S&D mode or something like that, just 5v5 kind of thing.
S&D would be awesome with this. It would be like my favorite.
Super hardcore.
Yeah, with the hardcore mechanics and like no specialist abilities, just like positioning, tactics, teamwork, like the weapon builds and the customization. And that's what I have always thought was the strong suit of this game, is the customization from the soldiers to the weapons. When you can build, I've always said this about any games, when you can build a soldier that looks like how you would want to look, it's so much more immersive. It gives you so much more stake and replayability. It helps put yourself in the game. And if you have those kind of wide gamut of game modes that someone would enjoy, and I've found myself lately needing those things. I like the bigger stuff of Battlefield where I can just hop in and run around and be silly with my friends, but I also like to get a crew, maybe stack up for S&D or Rainbow Six and sweat it out, making call outs, and because some of the best feelings for me in shooting games is like when you pull off something cool with a team. So to have this customization at the base, and then if they added those modes, we'd be cooking with grease.
Also, the investor guy did say too, he said within 2022. I'm gonna just say that. So if he was right about the open beta drop date, let's see if he's right about season 1 dropping sometime this year,
before the end of the year.
I'm thinking maybe Christmas around that time. That's the only time I can think of. I don't think they'll drop it before. I know a lot of people are worried about Modern Warfare 2 and stuff like that, and this game, you know, that game killing it. But I don't think Modern Warfare 2 is gonna kill it. It will take a good chunk of its audience for sure. I think people are just playing this free game until Modern Warfare 2. Until Modern Warfare 2 comes out. but only time will tell at this point.
I feel like it's a different enough game if it does those things that we talked about. It'll have an audience.
If it does those things, exactly.
Especially a free to play game like that. That's when I first built a PC, I did it for video editing. I didn't know anything about like gaming and stuff, but I would try free to play games just to see if I could even do it on my computer. So I mean, as a free to play game, you're gonna have some people, you're gonna have a base, and if they do that, I think they can survive. They've had so many chances, so I hope they can seize it.
Man. But yeah, no, that's pretty much it. World War III, man. That's kind of just
cool.
It's just a waiting game now. But again, it works. It works now. So
I can't thank you enough, dude. Holy shit. Like I was just gonna talk a little bit about what I knew. You messaged me right before we came on and gave so much more information, dude. I can't thank you enough. You made this crappy show like 50,000 times better. I really, really appreciate it. There's so much. I learned so much. I hope everyone listening did too. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on, man. Seriously.
Yep. All right, guys. I'm going to take a really quick break, say bye to Blue, and then I'll be back on, and the show will get substantially shittier. I'm sorry. It's just going to be me, but we'll get through some news, and I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys. I'm back. It's just you and me. So yeah, the show will probably get a little bit more interactive for the sake of the podcast, folks. I will try to read chat and make sure everybody understands what's going on. Yeah, it's just me. We got a little bit of news to get through. But yeah, as Blue was saying, I was just getting ready to go live. He popped in and said, "Hey, can I come on?" And I was gonna talk about Big Mike, nice. Heck yeah, man. Hop on. I should this gets substantially harder, you guys. I'm not kidding. Like the production team is honestly kind of shitty. Spoiler alert, it's me. But now I have to try to talk and queue up all the media in the background. And we're going to get through it. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me. We'll get through it, I promise. But yeah, he messaged me right away. I was going to talk about World War III anyway. He made that segment so much better. And again, it's not a big deal, guys. It's not a big deal. We're kind of a segment show now. Not a big deal. It's a little bit of a big deal. We're a segment show. It's pretty sweet. We're getting there. Thanks everybody for coming along for the ride. I didn't know. You guys can ask me. We'll check it out in the chat Q&A at the end if you guys want to. I do have a few pictures queued up of my hunting trip out in the middle of nowhere. Some of the stuff I took while I was hiking all over hell with my bow and arrow, like an idiot. And yeah, if you guys want to see them, I took some pretty cool pictures, so we can check those out a little bit later in the chat Q&A if you want to. Then we have some quick shots pulled up that we'll be able to talk about some quick fast news stories and things like that. And it should be a fun rest of the show. I'll be a little bit more interactive with chat. Big Mike gave himself a shout out. If you guys are interested in art, rendering 3D stuff, Big Mike on Twitter, he creates thumbnails for some of the largest Call of Duty influencers and creators out there, and does amazing work. So I definitely would check that out. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was the 2042 event. I don't know if a lot of you have followed this channel for a long time. It originally started out as a 2042 channel, then the game released, and I kind of fell out of love with it, is the polite way of putting it. It didn't feel like Battlefield to me. So we've kind of moved on to other stuff. This podcast, this live show was born from that, but I still definitely follow along with what's going on with the Battlefield franchise. I still love playing Battlefield 5, but they came out with an interesting event, the Liquidators event. Now, it's pretty much tactical conquest. What was weird to me is they started out with 8v8. Now, they made the maps and stuff smaller, so it's a lot quicker, no vehicles or anything like that, and the maps are quite a bit smaller. I'm not sure why they didn't put 16v16 in there. Now, I watched a lot of people talk about this game mode on Twitter. I jumped in for a match. It was pretty fun. I think your fun level really has a lot to do with which map you get put on. I think that has a lot to do with your fun level. I watched friend of the program, Justin. I watched him stream it this morning, and it was a little bit lackluster from his standpoint. It's new content for 2042-ish in a way. So we should be happy and thankful for that, because the game badly needs that. However, it's a mode we've played before. It's got all the specialists and things like that, although there is a specialist limit, which is pretty cool. The cosmetics and stuff are neat, but that's really the only new content. You're still playing on the same maps. You're still playing with the same guns. There is a content update coming very soon with the orbital rework. I hesitate to call them reworks, as I've been kind of bitter about this game a little bit. I honestly call them finishing the maps. So yeah, finishing the maps. That's coming pretty soon. But this is a game mode that I hopped in and tried. I might try to play it a little bit later tonight or tomorrow. I kind of want to feel where it's at. I feel like having these smaller player counts and player numbers could help out with some of the problems that were inherently from the large player base. The large player numbers, 128, as far as like performance, balance, just overall chaos. These potentially could flow better. From what I've seen, watching other creators play, the 16v16 mode is badly needed. They start out with just the 8v8 mode. Some of the criticisms I've heard is that it feels like a Portal mode. Like there's just not a lot to it. It doesn't feel as different as it could have, but it's something cool. It's something new, and I want to check it out and kind of see how the game is playing. I keep it installed and updated on my computer, and hop in and check it out. Every once in a while, I still check out the game. Yeah, I'm pretty bitter about it. I'll be honest with you. So that's what's going on with 2042. We'll definitely check it out. But I felt like when I watched people play it, the maps were still, some of them, not all of them, some of them were still a little bit big for 8v8. And we're looking forward to the 16v16. I think it'll play a little bit better, and I'll definitely try it by then to kind of see how it plays and see how the game's feeling. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for 2042. Again, it seems like this game is literally going to have 4 maps post-launch. Like from where we were in the DLC and the premium days of Battlefield 4 and 1 to now 4 maps post-launch for a Battlefield game is, I don't know. In my opinion, it's pretty sad. It is pretty sad. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, as always, is a little bit of the Modern Warfare 2 latest. There wasn't a lot. Again, guys, I was out in the wilderness, so I missed a lot of this stuff. So if I missed something, pop it in chat. Help me out. Help Crash out. He's struggling out here. The thing that I wanted to talk about with Modern Warfare 2, not a lot of stuff happened. There's a lot of trailers and things like that. As you guys know, we're really only, what are we? Like 9 days from early access to the campaign. And then like 17 days from the launch of everything. And then November 16th, DMZ. DMZ and Warzone 2, to a much lesser extent, are still a big mystery. I guess the two things we haven't really heard about are DMZ and raids. Those are something that I know I'm very interested in. I'm really interested in DMZ. I want to see what it's like. I just want to see how it plays. I really want to know. I think, as I've said before, DMZ, I feel like, is a really big risk for a AAA company. Even a game with as much content and as much depth as Tarkov, it still loses player base. It still loses players a couple months into the wipe, and people are ready for it to wipe. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with DMZ moving forward to keep people interested. If there's going to be, if it's going to, like, quote unquote wipe every season, if your progression is going to kind of start over, if there's going to be new missions. And I really hope the missions, and they should be with how Call of Duty kind of does daily missions and stuff like that. I really hope that the missions and objectives are dynamic. That's one of the big issues. Excuse me just a second. That's one of the big issues with Tarkov. As everyone progresses through a wipe, you're working on the same things like as you go. So that's a little bit frustrating, weird. I really hope that they're dynamic and they have, and I honestly don't know what that would be. Like if I think about it, what they would add to DMZ to make it better, I don't know for sure, like 100%, what kind of things they would do to keep people interested, whether it's, you know, cosmetics that are really cool that you can wear in multiplayer that you can earn in DMZ only. If there's a, you know, a store for DMZ currency and that's like where you get some of your best stuff. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'm just not sure what they could do to keep it playing because all the stuff I can think of, Tarkov's already done it. So it's going to be really interesting. Yeah, that was awesome. Said there's a leak of recently of the mission list in DMZ. Actually, I'm not going to call you out. All right. I did a video on it actually quite a long time ago. A lot of the missions and stuff leaked. I did another one. I've actually done 2 videos on the mission list over on my channel. If you guys are interested in some of that stuff, you can scroll through and find DMZ in the Modern Warfare 2 playlist. But those were originally leaked from that mobile alpha. So I did a video on those a long time ago, and then somebody kind of refound them and then made new articles, and people got excited again. But it's kind of stuff that we've talked about a little bit. Hashtag fake fan. No, dude, no. The other thing, I'm gonna get into a little bit of drama. All right, we're gonna get a little bit of drama. All right, we're gonna try to do good journalism around here and see what's going on. So, allegedly, all right, with Modern Warfare 2, they're implementing the same system as Overwatch 2, which requires you to have a phone number with your account to be able to get into BNet and play the game. Now, on the surface, sounds like a good thing. To most people, I think generally most people have a cell phone, so it's all good. However, people who use the 2-factor authentication system may exclude prepaid phones. Now, I'm not 100% sure where this leak originated. Right now, I'm looking at a VGC article, Video Games Chronicle article. It's been reported by several. I'm not 100% sure. I just said we're going to do good journalism, and now I'm doing dog shit journalism because I don't know where this story originated. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know who reported that first. But essentially, according to this article in VGC, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, newly created Overwatch 2 accounts, and newly created Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 accounts require a phone number. The site's information reads, this stuff comes from Blizzard's website. I'm not sure you found it first. Then adds, messaging apps like iMessage, WhatsApp are not supported. Mobile phones with prepaid plans may not work with phone notification service. Phone notifications cannot be used with voice over IP, and VoIP numbers that are transferred to a local provider are not eligible for the service. So, man, I guess I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this. Let's lay it out from both sides of the conversation, right? So on one side, you have someone like me, which I would guess would be in the majority, who probably has, excuse me, a personal cell phone that's not a prepaid, like pay-as-you-go plan. And everything's going to be fine. And for me, I could personally be excited about this because it likely means there's going to be less cheaters. There's going to be less spoofers. If an account gets banned on that phone number and that phone number can't be used, somebody can't just go buy like a prepaid phone from Walmart and get back in and start cheating again. So on the surface, that sounds great. Now, if you go to the opposite side, right? If you go to the opposite side where someone who does use a pay-as-you-go phone or who doesn't have a cell phone, I'm a boomer. You guys could probably tell I'm old as shit. And I didn't have a cell phone until like high school. And I'm guessing a lot of people play video games before they get into high school. So younger kids that don't have a cell phone yet could be potentially in trouble. So it's got a little bit of controversy there because there is probably a large swath of people that might have trouble playing the game. So, I mean, yeah, there's always going to be that. So I feel like in shooting games, we're always going to be battling cheaters, probably forever, right? And there's always going to be that line, like, how extreme do we get? How many legit players are going to have to suffer to be able to get a better experience for everyone else? and it's a really tough question. Tarkov has come up to this line several times with how they've banned in Tarkov, you can't drop certain things for your friends. And this is to try to help RMT or real money transactions from happening. So a lot of times people can go onto eBay. You can actually buy Tarkov loot on eBay, meet the person in game, or you could, and they could drop it for you. Well, now they made it to where there's a ton of different items that you can't drop. It'll delete it if you try to drop it. Now, this probably cut down a lot on RMT, but if I want to drop a key that I have that I'm done with for my buddy in raid and give it to him, I can't do that. So there's a fine line with fighting cheaters to where, like, how invasive do you get with like current players? So that's always a question I think moving forward that we're always going to be fighting with. And it's just, yeah, like Liv is saying in chat, how much freedom do we lose in order to get rid of cheaters? And I know people like me and people potentially like you who are really tired of cheaters, probably willing to give up quite a bit. And yes, Lib, I did play a lot of Snake on my Nokia brick. It's no big deal. I was pretty good at it. I'm not gonna lie. So let's continue to go further into this a little bit. I promise drama. We're gonna get into a little bit of it. No problem. All right. So Robert Bowling. Now, if you don't know, he was a former Call of Duty developer, now working at Dr. Disrespect Studio. He quote tweeted this article and said this. So again, he's now working on Dead Drop with Dr. Disrespect, has been a higher up in Call of Duty in the past. I'm pretty sure. You guys can fact check me on that, right? If that's a problem. He says, imagine banning all players who don't have cell phone plans and then releasing a game trailer that doesn't contain any game footage and only features multimillionaires. Classic Activision tone deafness, doing everything they can to overshadow a great game from the devs. And now if you're like me, when you first read this tweet, you're like, Robert, what's your problem, dude? What's your freaking problem? Well, there's a little bit to this, I feel like, in the fact that there are people, if you don't have a phone, that sounds crazy when you put it that way. If you don't have a phone plan, you can't play Call of Duty. So we're coming up against that line. Again, this is technically, I don't know how much so, Activision's, what would I say, competition over there at Midnight Society at 12 a.m. So who knows if that's a thing. Again, the trailer we're referring to, I don't know if you guys have seen it, the live action trailer. It has, let's just say for the new Call of Duty trailer, I'm not the target audience, okay? There's a bunch of rap artists and other probably influencers and stuff that I don't know that are, like Robert is saying, like Mr. Bowling is saying here, are probably multimillionaires that probably made some more millions to be in a Call of Duty ad. When, yeah, I'm not sure how far that will go. I feel like the people that enjoyed that are probably already going to buy the game. Once game developers and stuff get so big, the ways they spend their money seems so weird to me. But yeah, I'm definitely not the target demographic for that trailer. So we'll see how that goes. I know it's not this simple. I know it's not this simple, guys. Back off, all right? It's not this simple. But if you don't pay these artists and influencers millions of dollars in a commercial, maybe we can knock like $10 off the game, huh? Make it not as expensive for everybody. I know it's not that simple, all right? But that's just what I think. I think the trailer is really weird. I'm not sure. It doesn't really showcase the game. I don't know what they're going for there. You know, I mean, I can't remember the name of it. Back in school, we talked about like the different forms of advertising when you have a well-known figure advertised and people just want the product because of that. And I'm guessing that's, what they're going here. But for I guess, whatever, older people that think more logically, that ad or whatever, that trailer didn't make a lot of sense. And I feel like the money could have maybe been spent better elsewhere. Like, the people that make the game, pay the devs a little more. So I think they could. SS hasn't heard of the trailer. Let me see if I can find it really quick. I think I can find it. But yeah, let me know wherever you guys are at, if you're in the comments or if you're in the chat, what you think of the whole phone situation, if that would be any kind of problem for you. Let me pull it up, the Call of Duty. Yeah, here it is. I'll pull it up real quick so you guys can check it out while we're talking about it a little bit. But when you're talking about a company that's this massive, a company. They've done commercials like this in the past. I kind of like the ones that were more about there's a soldier in all of us or whatever that kind of had to do with the game. But this one, they're just riding motorcycles around on a runway and line dancing in a bar. It's just I'm confused. And this is me getting old, probably. I could just be getting too old, but it is up on the screen. I'm sorry, podcast listeners. That's the best I can do in trying to explain it to you. But it has to be just for the younger generation, which I feel like if you know Call of Duty and you're in a younger generation, you're gonna probably want to buy it anyway, or get your parents to buy it, and in turn, you're gonna have to get your parents to use a cell phone, apparently, so to be able to get into play. But a lot of these people are, for my boomer understanding, are fairly famous people and influential, so they probably had to pay them quite a bit. There's a lot of supercars and things like that. There's the FaZe Clan people, so they're all excited, jumping around. Yay. I know that makes me want to play Call of Duty. But it's like a live action trailer, and there is zero gameplay. I don't even think there was a firearm in that. Like, I have more firearms in the background of my podcast than they had in the Call of Duty trailer. Weird. So I know there's ways that I don't have it. I'm not sure how people do it, but you can go and there's some kind of plugins where you can actually see the dislikes. And I think this trailer had a significant portion of dislikes too. So that's pretty much all that's going on. I wanted to let you guys know about that. I thought the cell phone thing was big. I guess that system is already happening in Overwatch. That's another one of the reasons when I talk about sometimes I'm really scared that Activision Blizzard is going to have potentially a pretty secure monopoly over first-person shooters and are able to implement kind of whatever rules and stuff they want. If you're all for this rule, some people aren't, and it really doesn't matter. They're going to do it anyway. I worry about this when it comes to cosmetics, because we've seen some of the microtransaction stuff they've done in Diablo are so bad, and I hope so. We see this cell phone number thing coming from Overwatch 2. I hope we don't see a microtransaction model coming from like Diablo or something like that. That would be incredibly sad, and that's why I worry about that sometimes. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I think the next thing we'll talk about, I think yeah, that was awesome. That sums it up perfect. And that's what I was talking about with there's a soldier in all of us. It had all like Jonah Hill and stuff. That was awesome. And chat says in the celebrity trailers back in the day, they at least had CGI of them blowing shit up. This one was just, I don't even know what this is. But maybe I'm not meant to. It's part of getting old, guys. And if you're out there, if you're laughing at me for getting old, it's going to happen to you. Get off it. It's going to happen to you. Oh, did you guys see the other thing I wanted to talk about? Yeah, the whole trailer, like Big Mike says, the whole trailer is just, it's confusing. Did you guys see this? I wanted to show this to you. Oh, there's something else I could talk about too. I could talk about this too because Buff's not here. You guys want to get controversial? You guys want to get wild? Let's do it. Buff's not here, and I'm sorry, podcast people, you won't be able to hear this. J God posted this of crazy aim assist. I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter. It is actually wild. I've seen a few of these, but you can actually see the scope input, and you can see like how hardcore the aim assist is. And like, if something's ever going to happen where Buff and I don't work together anymore, it's because we're going to argue about aim assist. It's going to happen someday. We're going to have a knockdown drag out about aim assist. Because I'm a PC player, mouse and keyboard, and I think it's a problem. And he says it doesn't feel like this. Now, there were people in the comments saying theirs didn't feel like this. You guys can see the controller inputs in the top right, and that's really important. For the rotational aim assist to work, you have to be like strafing and moving. So you can see he has that left stick input. So he's backed into a corner using left stick input. And then the auto rotation is rotating his character. It doesn't like essentially aim, but it's like following really closely. So and there's also some certain settings, like Jay God talked about some settings. So Buff might need to look into this. All right. Getting his settings right. So he can have aim assist. Sorry. On his controller, but you have to be moving. Anyway, as you guys can imagine, I recommend if you're bored, if you're sitting on the shitter, taking a dump, go find this on JGods and read the comments because it's pretty fun. Just controller players, mouse and keyboard players, just mad. Everybody's mad. So go check it out if you're taking a dump. It's good reading. And then the other thing, oh guys, I just saw funny stuff I wanted to talk about. I also want this program to be entertaining too, not just straight up news. So I want to get everybody's thoughts on this. This is kind of sad. I don't know. I don't know if I should be necessarily reacting to this or not. I guess we're technically in the quick shot segment of the program. Did you guys see? So TwitchCon's been going on. I don't know if you guys have seen this. Yeah, Big Mike. There's only a few players that play competitive Warzone that play on keyboard and mouse. So that should tell you something. If Buff sees this, he's gonna be so mad at me. We have fights about this. It's true. We miss Buff, by the way. Hopefully he's back with us next week. The show desperately needs Buff. So yeah, like I said in the ticker above, miss you, Buff. Hope you're doing well, man. He's got a lot going on IRL. It's all good stuff. He's vibing, but he's just really busy. So we'll hopefully see him next week. I really hope so. But it kind of shows, I don't want to toot my own horn, but this kind of shows how committed we are to getting you guys a show every week. I was traveling and stuff. We had to move the dates. Thank you guys for being flexible. But I just always want to get a show out to you guys every week and really try. We try to do that. So anyway, Adriana Chechik, apparently she's an adult entertainer and a Twitch streamer, which up until recently shouldn't go hand in hand, but potentially they do. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. The girl that got banned for actually performing coitus on Twitch only got banned for a little while. Weird deal. Twitch's a weird company. But anyway, she actually broke her back in a foam pit at TwitchCon, and it is horrible. And I want to know what you guys think of this, because there's again, like many things, two sides to this story. Let me turn this sound down. I don't know how loud that audio would be. But essentially, if you guys can look at this, sorry, podcast listeners, probably do the best to describe it to you. This thing looks like a true foam pit, like athletes practice, doing, I don't know, Lib, one of the members of my community in my Discord and stuff, he put up some pictures. He actually went to TwitchCon. So I'd be curious if he saw this thing, if it was obvious to them that this is not a foam pit like athletes practice, skateboard tricks into, or, even like the motocross jumps and stuff into. This is essentially like foam blocks on a much harder surface, like almost like a wrestling ring mat, or it's not even look soft as a trampoline. And this is hard to watch kind of because she does get injured. Big Mike says don't play it. I just kind of want to see, so you can see. I won't play it because it is kind of graphic, and I don't want to like show off people getting injured because that's serious and it sucks. But see the girl on the right lower part of the screen, she's sitting on the bottom of the pit. So if you see this thing off the bat, you're gonna think, oh, it's just a foam pit you can jump into. But apparently the bottom of it was really hard. Someone else dislocated their knee, and she actually broke her back in 2 places. Now, I would consider this to be an accident, but Twitch is probably going to get sued this day and age. The only thing where I could say that this could have been, I don't know why I'm reacting to this, and I don't know why this show got off the rails. I'm sorry, guys. The only thing I could say that she should have known is she had to walk out to this podium. So it's like, I don't know if you guys remember, oh geez, I'm going to date myself again, like American Gladiators, where they stood on the pedestals and had the pugil sticks and were like jousting to knock each other off of the stands. That's what this is. And my first thought was like, oh my gosh, they didn't tell her that this wasn't a true deep foam pit, but she had to walk out to that podium, to that thing. So she should have known that the floor was hard. And it was just, I think it's just an accident. I hope that they told them that this was such, but she should have known that the floor was hard because she had to walk out to the podium to battle with the pugil sticks and joust. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't know whose fault it is. My opinion really doesn't matter, but like, it was just something crazy that I saw from TwitchCon. I know some of my friends on Twitch actually made it out there, and the event looked really cool. But yeah, so I hope she gets better soon. It sounds like she has to get surgery to get a rod in for support in her back, and that's heartbreaking. And we really hope she gets better, and hope this doesn't ever happen again. But yeah, that's what I think, Liv. If she had to know, like walking through it, that's going to be a problem, and you shouldn't jump off this thing. So anyway, sorry. Occasionally on the show, I want to talk about like kind of pop culture, entertaining stuff that's going around. So I saw that. The next thing I want to talk about, this actually came up before my trip, and I jotted it down on my notes to talk about it. This came to me actually on Jeff Grubb's podcast, the morning game mess, I think. Anyway, Jeff Grubb's podcast, he does live on Twitch in the morning. The first quick shot, real quick shot, is Halo Infinite could be, or is, he says, according to his sources, switching to Unreal 5. Now, one of the reasons Halo was delayed a whole bunch is because apparently of the slip space engine, but they touted it as an amazing thing that was going to make the game great. It was going to make the game easily updatable. It was going to make it run well, play well, and all that stuff, which it kind of did at launch. It felt pretty polished, but it could have potentially been one of the reasons there's not a lot of content for this game, which is one of the big things holding it back. But engine troubles holding a game back in a AAA space. Does that sound familiar? 2042. So why I thought this was interesting to talk about is whenever we had the EA developer Jim Heil on, he talked about how there are many off-the-shelf engines where that company handles the engine, handles the groundwork and stuff like that. So devs don't have to. They can focus on balancing. They can focus on making changes and getting the game to run well and stuff like that. And this is the first time I feel like we've seen a AAA studio veer off of a proprietary, I found the word, guys, my old brain found it, a proprietary engine that they worked on for a really long time. And they're actually saying, hey, they're admitting it's not working out, and they're going to off the shelf Unreal 5, which is pretty crazy to see that. So it gives me a little bit of hope that potentially Battlefield may eventually do something like that based on, we've heard the engine being a lot of the problems. Now, I forgot to mention when we talked about the 2042 events, it did launch and have to get taken off because the progression wasn't working. And again, fits into my overall theory of the problem with 2042 being crossplay, being cross progression in the Frostbite engine, not getting along very well. Because just, I have a whole bunch of reasons. It's a big conspiracy theory. And so this is the first time we're seeing a AAA studio switch engines partway through a game cycle. Now, I don't know what this is going to do with content. It's interesting because this is supposed to be a 10-year game. You know, Halo Infinite is supposed to get supported for a really long time. The other thing that Jeff Grubb mentioned in his podcast that was really, really interesting was that the certain Affinity Battle Royale that's been rumored for a really long time, Project Tatanka, has been in Unreal Engine 5 the whole time. So I don't know, that had to be planned. I don't know how that works. I'm just an idiot on the internet. How you could have like two different game modes on the same, or in the same game on different engines. I don't know if that's possible. Potentially it could be. It sounds like a headache. So, but anyway, moral of the story, Halo Infinite could potentially be moving to Unreal Engine 5. This could set a precedent for other AAA studios to do the same. All this according to Jeff Grubb on his podcast. It is now time for the next quick shot. This show's terrible. Appreciate you guys for hanging with me, even though I'm by myself. I know the show is much better with Buff. Really appreciate you guys sticking around. So the next thing I wanted to talk about was a rumor that's been going around that the next Call of Duty after Treyarch, so we're talking potentially 2025, could be Advanced Warfare 2. And as always, there is a whole entire COD cycle, or just the COD community is always split. I think the COD community is just so big that you're never going to have total agreement. But this started the Twitter drama of everyone saying, you know, Advanced Warfare was a trash game. I really like Advanced Warfare. And it opens up the whole can of worms of boots on the ground versus quote unquote advanced movement, if that's a thing or not. And the skill gap therein, if it's like spammable or if it's an actual skill gap, or people just have incredibly strong opinions on this. But this could potentially be what what Sledgehammer is working on. Along with that news, we also got the rumors from Ghost of Hope that the next game after Modern Warfare 2 in 2 years from Treyarch, which we know it from the data mines from the Warzone mobile alpha, is likely going to be like a 1990s like Operation Desert Storm themed conflict, is probably going to be also supported for 2 years like Modern Warfare 2. So that's going to be really, really interesting to watch, because like I've talked about the COD community and the COD cycle, how people get really tired of the game by the time the next one is. How many of you guys are playing Vanguard? Right. So I know Vanguard was a trash game by most people's standards. I didn't play it enough to really get a good opinion. It was so weird. But there's a cycle where people really get tired of the COD about this time of year and ready for the next one, right? And it's gonna be very important to see excuse me, how Activision handles this cycle when they're going to allegedly push these games 2 years instead of just one. I think a big reason behind that is the updates that are required to keep Warzone running. Devs have mentioned before how much of a challenge it was to add other games, guns and stuff into Warzone, and just keep piling those on and keep combining those engines and those mechanics and things like that. So it's going to be interesting to see. Big Mike's plays Vanguard. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to throw you under the bus like that. I'm going to throw myself under the bus. I'm going to join you under the bus. I liked Advanced Warfare. I thought the weapon variants were pretty cool. The loot boxes were terrible, but I didn't know it at the time because it was the first time we saw that. It was kind of the first time. It's probably my first, what I would call Call of Duty game that I played a lot. I've told a lot of people this, that I came to gaming pretty darn late in my life. But yeah, you guys can pile on, unsub, unfollow, block me or whatever. I really like the setting of Advanced Warfare. I thought it was cool because it was gritty. It was still futuristic, but it was like dark and gritty and warlike, and the conflict was believable. And it had what I thought was really good map design. It had dynamic maps, like you're seeing the tidal wave come in on that one, and the tsunami map. And there was I guess Dr. Disrespect designed the recovery map where the volcano erupted and pushed you into a different part of the map. Some of that stuff was pretty cool, and I thought I liked it. The setting was cool. Love or hate Advanced Movement. This has some of my favorite maps, and I thought the setting was really cool and easy to get into. Like I said, it was until they started coming out with the crazy skins. This also had Advanced Warfare also had the best soldier customization of any Call of Duty, because I'm not saying the clown skins, I'm not saying the gingerbread skins, I'm not saying that crazy stuff. I'm with many of you. I don't really enjoy that kind of stuff. The fact that you could change your boots, you could change your exo, you could change your pants, your jacket, your head, all that stuff you could change independently. There was granular customization of your soldier, which was really cool. So the friends that I played with, I could instantly tell it was them just by looking at them, and that was pretty cool. So I'm an Advanced Warfare truther. Also, the guys that I got into Call of Duty with have been playing it a long time. They didn't like the advanced movement. Advanced Warfare, when it was populated, actually had an old school mode. It had a classic mode where the exosuits didn't work. So I played that a lot, and it felt great. So I didn't mind the advanced movement just because I didn't know any better. But the classic mode, boots on the ground advanced warfare was really good, I thought. So you guys can hate me, you can unfollow me. That's my controversial take that you guys can just obliterate me in the chat. Gives you something to do. Have fun. It's time for the next quick shot. Now give the production team a little bit of time. They're working really hard behind the scenes here to pull up the next media. I just want something on the screen that you guys can look at that's not my face. So that's why we'll pull that up. The next thing I wanted to talk about was Streets of Tarkov. If you're a Tarkov fan, you know that this has been a thing for a really long time. It's been teased for a long time. It's kind of become a meme that Streets is never going to come out. But Battlestate did tweet out new images of Streets of Tarkov, and of course they look pretty cool. So we can go through and look at those while we're talking about it. And then again, there is a major, I don't want to say a major, there is a large update with some downtime coming up. Some conspiracy theorists are like, it's time for Streets after all these months and years that it's actually coming out. I don't know about that. But these images look really cool. Streets of Tarkov looks like an incredibly ambitious map. So many rooms you can go into. I think, the way we saw the Lighthouse map come out, that there's going to be a lot of issues with how the game runs. I hope it's optimized well. Nikita said in several podcasts, several interviews, that's what they're worried about is that. But Streets of Tarkov has been teased yet again, and these images look really cool. It's gonna be cool to check out. I think that'll bring a lot of people back to the game. That was truly a quick shot. Truly was. Next one. I'm just gonna pull it up right here. Get a little look behind the scenes. This is how I pull up trailers. The next thing I wanted to talk about a little bit briefly, Overwatch 2. I tried out Overwatch 2 again. It really felt like Overwatch 1. It's not really a game for me. There's kind of too much going on the screen for me to understand. I am a boomer. Totally get it. A lot of you guys may enjoy Overwatch, and it came out at a really good time when people are kind of waiting on Modern Warfare 2. It is a free-to-play experience, but it really is an interesting way to almost re-release a game. They changed it from 6v6 to 5v5. Just a new hero. A lot of the same remastered stuff. Heroes, maps, and modes, and things like that. So it's weird. I played it, and it was it says, that's funny. Oh, that's how those guys do it. Yeah, you got to see a little sneak peek behind the scenes. Sorry, podcast listener. But with what I thought was interesting about Overwatch 2, I saw a couple people, and I think namely Get Flanked, who's been on the program before, Rainbow Six Siege creator. And Rainbow Six Siege is a game that I've always really enjoyed, and it's been on a kind of a steady decline lately. And I just kind of wonder with what Overwatch did. They kind of took the game offline for a day. They teased Overwatch 2, which is really similar, made some key improvements, updates, but the game is essentially the same. Like, I played it again. Like, it's the same game for the most part. Is that something Rainbow Six Siege could do? So in this quick shot, the story is more of a question. Rainbow Six Siege is a game that is similar, incredibly ambitious, long history of being supported, even longer than Overwatch. Tons of maps, tons of destruction. The hero system, the operators are incredibly complicated. So is this something that Rainbow Six could say, hey, we're taking offline for a couple of days, we're coming out with Rainbow Six Siege 2, but, and I don't know what they would change, but I feel like this is one of the only ways that they could probably reinvigorate Rainbow Six Siege, because that game is so hard to get into, but once you do, it's really rewarding. It's a really cool game. It's having cheater problems. It's always had balancing issues and stuff like that. But I saw Overwatch do it. Get Flanked talked about it on Twitter. Is this something? I will leave that question to you guys. Is this something that they could do? I don't know. David Brown in chat. Anyone remember R6 Extraction? Great segue. Great segue, David. I appreciate that. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is from Ubisoft, and it is Project U, which is a game I don't really have anything that I can pull up and talk about because it's going up for a closed playtest this weekend. Yeah, all we know is that it's a co-op shooter. If you read about it online, it appears to be some kind of let me see if I can pull it up. I'll get the wording right for you guys. We're gonna do good journalism around here. It's a co-op shooter from Ubisoft, so that's what I was like, David. Like when you said Rainbow Six Extraction, I was like, hope it's not another one of those. So yeah, here's Insider Gaming. We'll take a look at this article real quick so we get it right. We don't want to have a bad program around here. This is from Tom Henderson of Insider Gaming. Ubisoft begins playtest of Project U, a new co-op shooter. Now, there's been some information that has been on the website. It's a new concept of a session-based co-op shooter where many players unite to prevail against an overwhelming threat. Someone in my Discord had a really good point, and it thought it sounded a lot like, based on this stuff, like the Arc Raiders game from Embark. So hopefully there's a little bit more to it. It's a closed test that's going to go on this weekend for Project U, and I don't know, if you look at this, it kind of gives you that Arc Raiders vibe. Kind of looks like it's also maybe not for my demographic, being an old person. There's also X Defiant hanging out there that I'm a little bit more excited about because it sounds like a multiplayer shooter that they've put a lot of thought into. I'm not really that exciting for the setting or the goofiness or the heroes, but if it's well balanced, if it plays well, if it's competitive, I'm going to try it out. So, you know that from Ubisoft, we also have X Defiant, like I talked about, in the Division Heartlands. There's also been some Division Heartlands stuff leaked. So that's something to keep an eye out, but we'll see if anything comes out over the weekend with Project U, and we'll try to see what their push for the free-to-play market. Ubisoft has just been striking out lately, in my opinion. So hopefully, again, they do something to make this not a Rainbow Six Extraction and not a Hyperscape. So, yeah, that's kind of the big deal. Have you played X Defiant? I did play one of the very first playtests. It felt a lot like Call of Duty, but I've liked some of the stuff I've seen the developers tweeting. I know some pro players have worked on it to help them balance it, and also they've talked about how matchmaking will work. Skill-based matchmaking is going to be much more lax, and there's going to be a ranked mode, and that kind of stuff gets me excited to try it at least. Drac says, we need Crash's Center for kids who can't do journalism good and want to learn to do other stuff good too. I would be down for that. I think that would be great because I can't journalism worth a shit. EA should make another Army of Two. I don't even remember that, Pores and Pixels. If you guys want another awesome podcast to listen to, check out Pores and Pixels over on Twitter. They post all their stuff on there. You can also find them on all the major podcast platforms. But they, like me, also enjoy video games and drinking. So yeah, if you guys need another podcast to listen to that's not much better than this one, check those guys out as well. Pores and Pixels, shout out. Thanks guys for being in the chat, appreciate it. I think it's time for chat Q&A. If you guys want to, I'm sorry again to the podcast listener out there, if you guys are interested, I have a couple pictures queued up of my bow hunting trip, some of the cool scenery and stuff I saw, and yeah, I think it'd be cool to check out if you guys are interested. And then I would be down to answer questions and stuff for a little bit. Would be cool. Yeah, I'll talk about them while you guys come up with questions. So, this first picture is potentially why my hunting trip didn't go that great. For those of you listening at home on mobile devices, it is a bear sitting next to the deer feeder. You know what doesn't get along very well with bears? Deer. That's right. So we didn't see very many deer. This is probably one of the biggest reasons why. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, the deer. The feeder in the background that's laying over is all broken up because the bears mauled it. The part of Oklahoma that I was in does not have a bear season, so there's really nothing that we can do about it other than watch the bears. The first morning was hiking through a creek with just my bow and arrow. I didn't really have a sidearm on me at that time, and almost stepped on one. Like, the bear was bedded down in the tree that we walked by, and popped up right in front of me and ran off. He's kind of a cinnamon bear, black bear, cinnamon bear like the candy. No, cinnamon bear like the big thing with teeth. Jumped up and run. Had to go back to camp, change my pants, come up with a new plan, and grab the sidearm. And we went back out hiking around looking for deer. Did see some deer. Didn't get some great pictures. But yeah, it was a lot of hiking. Saw some really cool country. We found 4 elk sheds. So in Oklahoma, that's pretty cool to find some signs of elk. This is one of the sunsets on top of the canyon. This is my buddy Clark that I went with the pack in his boat, checking out the sunset. We were watching to see if anything bedded down in the canyon. But I got a lot of hiking with with me sitting around a lot, working and not moving around too much. I do go to the gym every day, but not a lot of cardio. It was really good for me. I did a lot of hiking with some packs on, and it was really cool. I thought this was a really cool picture. Then this is just kind of off the canyon looking down at the river bottom. Really pretty land. It was just a lot of fun. It turned into more of a hiking trip, but we did see a few cool things. And then this is a view of me sitting on my deer stand, kind of looking down the river on the last evening. So, funny story. We fixed a bunch of the deer feeders that the bears have messed up, and we fixed them. And then we were like, well, we were just loud in this area. There's going to be no deer here. So we hunted on like the other end because we thought we probably scared everything out of that end working on it. We anchored them in. So we were hammering on stuff. And then my cousin sent me pictures from the camera of deer that were back where we started working. So we missed them. Like, if we would have been sitting back there, we probably would have had a successful hunt with the bow. But pay your money, take your chance. That's what happened. But it was an awesome trip. Yeah, guys, it was fun. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. 4 days of touching grass, now crashing, play inside, and play Modern Warfare 2 for a full year. We're going to get some S&D going, aren't we, Drac? We're going to rest it. We're going to rescue the shit out of some hostages, and we're going to play some S&D. And it's going to be a good time. I don't know about you guys, but I was incredibly surprised. I should probably make a video about it. I was really surprised how much strategy went into that hostage rescue mode. We had some really cool plays as a squad, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's right. I mean, the hostages, they're so helpless. We got to go get them. They're not gonna stand up and walk out on their own. So, but yeah, anyway, guys, thank you for being here. Had quite a few viewers tonight. For just me rambling. Super thankful for everyone just hanging out and chatting with me. The fact that I can sit here and talk about video games and people listen to me is just incredibly humbling, and I can't say thank you enough. Super big shout out and thank you to Blue the Robot. Follow him everywhere. That's his handle on everything, on YouTube, on Twitter and stuff. If you guys are interested at all in World War III and keeping up with the news, he's your guy, as he very well put on display at the beginning of the program, talking about stuff I had no idea about. We all learned a lot about World War III, the game. I have to say, for YouTube, the game, that was awesome. We all learned a lot. So if you're interested in that game, follow him. Special shout out to Big Fry for taking the time. Big fan of his. He's probably really busy for popping in the chat, as well as Big Mike, another awesome creator and a member of the channel. Thank you guys for taking the time, and just everybody. David, that was awesome. Drac, just all you guys. SS has been here for a while. Max, Pores and Pixels, just everybody for being here. Thank you so much. Incredibly kind of you. Do you think the nighttime parachuting clip from the recent MWII trailer was DMZ? I'm not sure. I think it could be either. That was awesome. I think they'll probably have nighttime events in Warzone 2, but it would be really cool if the DMZ had a day-night cycle like Tarkov. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I think it could be either, but it's definitely interesting. Definitely an interesting question. I hope so. I really hope DMZ has a day-night cycle. That'll just help add to that replayability, right? Like getting different experiences dealing with different things. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I think that's a show. We got through a lot of news. We talked about a lot of stuff. Hour and a half. I did it without Buff. I really hope that Buff will be back next week. The show desperately needs him. We appreciate him. And hopefully he's going well. Miss you, Buff. What about weather in DMZ? I doubt that, Starcab. Starcab asked, how about weather in DMZ? I doubt it. I would be surprised if it had it. I think that would be one of the first times Call of Duty had that, but I hope so. The weather in the Road to Vostok demo was amazing. Yeah, thanks, awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Max, thank you for always being here and cleaning up the Russian sex bots. Can't thank you enough, man, for taking the time to do that. He's keeping us safe. Max is doing the Lord's work. We might actually be getting most of them blocked, man. I don't know. We might actually be getting most of them blocked, but he's out here doing the Lord's work, keeping us all safe. Thank you, Mad Max, for your service. David Brown asked, where's Buff? He's got stuff going on like IRL. I don't know how much he wants me to share. It's all good stuff. Just some changes and stuff that he's working on, helping family do some stuff. Nothing bad at all. Everything sounds good. I'll let him tell you guys what he wants to when he gets back about what he's up to. But yeah, all good stuff. He's just really busy taking care of some IRL changes with what he's up to and what he's got going on. But yeah, nothing bad. All good stuff. Yeah, I think that's good. Oh, I'm going to share some good news. I don't talk about like my personal stuff very often. This is the end of the show. The real ones are here. I actually had an MRI. An endocrinologist suspected that I could have potentially had a pituitary tumor in my brain. And I had an MRI last week, and thank the Lord, no tumor. I found that out while I was up on the mountain and got a little bit of service. So yeah, doesn't explain like all the problems I've been having, but my brain is clear. So that's really cool. I don't generally share a lot of that stuff, but it was just some really, really cool news to get off my chest. That was kind of weighing on me for a while when you ever have a doctor mention that kind of stuff. So yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. It's really cool. I'm really happy about it. I know that people sticking around at the end of the show with just me blabbing are the real ones. So I appreciate you guys a lot. If you're listening to this, thank you so much. Yeah, true, Sylvia. Don't need another terminal list. Max, we can show the elk sheds on the Twitch stream tonight. How about that? I don't want to give away all my crazy stuff, all the crazy cool pictures. But yeah, I can show we can look at the elk sheds tonight on the Twitch broadcast. So I will be live over on twitch.tv /crash8. Crashes 1 through 7 we're taking. Not my fault. We do the best we can. But yeah, we'll check it out. Thank you guys for all the kind words. I appreciate it, Big Mike. Yeah, hopefully we'll be back next week. No matter what, like I said, guys, I'm really committed to getting you guys a show every week. I want to stick to that. Like I said, you spending your time here means a lot to me. I don't take it lightly, so I want to try to have a show every week. Yeah, David Crash 8. If you see crashes 1 through 7 out there, put them on notice. Let them know I'm looking for them. All right. I want that twitch.tv /crash name really bad. I would really like to have that. And it's not in use. Somebody's just squatting on it, not even using it. Not cool. Not cool at all. But anyway, guys, again, thank you so much. I got to get out of here. I just love talking to you. I got to shut up. You guys are all awesome. Thank you for the kind words. And we'll see you next week and tonight on the Twitch stream. Bye.